From Omro down to Mayville, from Rosendale to the Ledge, and everywhere in between, it's time to get you caught up on everything happening in the Flyway Conference. This is the Flyway Focus Sport Report, your home for the best whip-around coverage of your favorite local teams. Now, with all the latest, here's Jordan King.
Good Saturday morning to you. Well, we said it yesterday morning. Any given Friday. Last night, in an unlikely upset, Winnebago Lutheran football went to Fruth and took down St. Mary's Springs. 21-20 the final, and Gannon Schwartz was electric for the Vikings. Schwartz accounted for all 3 touchdowns. He had a first-half 28-yard strike to Caleb Wild, then a fourth-quarter TD pass to Miles McCulley. Then with about 3 minutes left, Schwartz housed it on a 47-yard run, during which he juked several ledgers to put WLA up 21-14. Schwartz on the run.
Yeah, Coach, that was the play call. It was act like I was going one way, cut it back, and coaches trusted me, and line blocked, everything was there. Just had to make 1 or 2 guys miss, that's all it was. Line did everything else.
That still left plenty of time for the Ledgers to come back down the field and potentially tie or take the lead. That's what they did. After a Ben Anderson touchdown run, the Ledgers chose to try and win it in regulation with a 2-point conversion. Anderson rolled out to the right and was hit by WLA junior Caleb Wild, which disrupted the pass attempt. That fell incomplete, and the Vikings had done it. They held on. Coach Kevin Lair.
We figured they were going to go for 2, and I'm so proud of those guys getting that stop. Unbelievable. We thought about calling timeout, but we needed to save it in case we needed it, so just proud of the gents.
So the 7th-seeded Vikings move on to level 2. Unlikely, but they did it, where they will play on the road at Lake Country Lutheran. This game also marks the end of the famous Hall of Fame career of Ledgers coach Bob Hyland. We'd be remiss if we didn't give a tip of the cap to him on a stellar 54 years in charge on the Ledge. Incredible. In other Level 1 action, Lemira and Mayville both took care of business with big wins. The Cards up in D4 got a 42-6 win against Waupun. That sets up a home matchup with number 3-seeded Berlin next week in Level 2. Lemira got a 46-0 win against Mishicot at home, and the Lion rushing attack was back to its normal dominant self yesterday. Taylor Schaumburg went over 100 yards and scored 3 times. Jack Lidke and Jackson Gable each scored twice as the team rushed for more than 300 yards and hit 400 total yards of offense. And finally, Campbellsport came up short, 35-7 the loss to Berlin. On to cross country from yesterday. Speaking of Campbellsport, the Cougars cross country team did not come up short in any way yesterday afternoon at the Division II Wapaka sectional. The Cougars had a plan. Senior Brody Nolan.
Yeah, we planned on trying to go out a little slow, conserve, because there's a lot of hills in the back, and just to run our race. We knew we could do it, so we just didn't have to do anything crazy.
That plan worked to perfection. The Cougars' top 5 runners all finishing inside the top 22, and Campbellsport won sectionals for the first time since 1984. Junior Gavin Pickering joined cross country for the first time this year. His thoughts on the race.
It's a whirlwind of emotions, and we've been working this since the summer, beginning of the summer. We took a little bit of break off from track, and then here we are and working at it all summer, and 4 months later and going to state.
Gavin's brother Garrett Pickering was the top finisher for the Cougars in 4th place. State next week at Wisconsin Rapids. North Fonty and Mayville were both at the same sectional. No individuals qualified from either school. That brings us to today. Another busy day starting this morning at 11 over at Shepherd's Meadow Golf Course in Poynette. That's where Lemira's girls cross-country team will try to replicate what Campbellsport did yesterday and clinch a state berth. The meet also includes Laconia, Springs, and Winnebago Lutheran from the Flyway Conference, with several individuals that will have a chance to make it, including Ledger's top runner, Emmett Hune. And starting at 11:30 this morning, Omro's cross-country team, first the girls then the boys, will race over at Meadow Links Golf Course, hosted by Manitowoc Lutheran. Soccer and volleyball have reached the regional final round, and there are just 3 teams remaining in each sport. Top-seeded Laconia Volleyball hosts St. Mary Catholic tonight at the Pit. The Zephyrs are 23-10 on the season. Laconia, meanwhile, 25-2. Mayville is a 4 seed, and they have a road trip to Lake Country Lutheran tonight. Lake Country was ranked 6th in the final Division III poll, so going to be a challenge tonight for the Cards. And 7th-seeded Springs tries to keep the run going after upsetting 2nd-seeded Oostburg on Thursday night. Tonight, the Ledgers make a similar trip over to Cedar Grove, Belgium, to play the 3rd-seeded Rockets. And finally, in soccer today, Winnebago Lutheran is a 6th seed on the road to play number 3 Lodi, a tough matchup for the Vikings, who have struggled to score this year. 4 p.m. start at Lodi. Lodi. Lourdes Valley Christian also goes on the road. The 5th-seeded Knights are at 4-seed Roncalli, 7 p.m. kick in Manitowoc. And finally, Mayville has a home match despite being a 12-seed this afternoon at Ribbons Memorial Park. Madison Country Days Field does not comply with the WIAA's minimum standards for soccer. That's why Country Day played at Lemire on Thursday, and it happened in this round as well. The upset-minded Cards already took out 5th-seeded Wayland, and a chance here with a little bit of a home boost to keep the run going at Ribbons Park. 1 p.m. kick this afternoon there. We're back Monday. We'll give you results from today's action. We'll talk a little bit more about Level 1 football. That's coming up on Monday. Hope you join us. For the Flyway Focus Sports Report, I'm Jordan King.